Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Book It, Vince, the Wrestling Dream Match podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Martin Bennett. And with me, as always, is the reflection of perfection, Anthony Hall.
Damn, the reflection of perfection. And is it Mr. Perfect?
No, sadly.
Damn it. Damn it.
No, this one's a bit of a... it's not really a deep cut. It's more of like someone underrated during the like early 2000s of WWE.
Kurt Hawkins.
It wasn't in the early 2000s.
Curtis Axel.
It wasn't in the early 2000s.
Give me.
When do you think where do you think the early 2000s start?
2020 is the early 2000s.
This is.
I don't know. I need some clues.
Okay. He was supposed to originally be in Evolution instead of Batista. That's a little fun thing. He then was
Rhino.
No, definitely not. He was then in a faction called the Alliance.
Damn, this is like exactly when I stopped watching, or not stopped watching, but did not watch.
This is 2001 to 2004.
Oh, wow.
It's
I know.
Mark Jindrak.
Yeah, I was not going to get that.
Mark Jindrak was originally supposed to be in Evolution alongside Triple H, Ric Flair, and Randy Orton.
I can't even picture what this guy looks like right now.
He's just a big muscle head blonde dude.
Big muscle head blonde dude.
He might have brown hair now. I don't know. But yeah, he was in the Alliance. Feuding with La Resistance. Face off against Rosie and the Hurricane.
Oh.
Yeah, he was like,
and his name really is Mark Jindrak. No stage name or no wrestling name at all. Wow. But yeah, it's fun.
The reflection of perfection. They love giving big dudes like that names like that.
Like weird, like sort of dainty names.
Well, it's like it's trying to play into the whole like Mr. Perfect thing of like, I'm a chiseled god.
Oh, I see. So yeah, okay.
I think Mark Jindrak's in. I think he might be in. No, he wouldn't be in Raw versus SmackDown 2006. No, it might be. Maybe not.
He's not in the Raw versus SmackDown that we play, right?
No, I can't remember. He was there until the end of 2000. He was there till the end of 2005. So maybe
interesting. We're spending so much. This is the most time that anyone on a wrestling podcast has spent talking about Mark Jindrak in the last 10 years.
He had feuds with like Orlando Jordan and Rene Dupree and stuff like that in like the US title picture. Yeah. So
I see.
But yeah. Anyways, enough about Mark Jindrak. We have an episode to book. So welcome to the podcast, everybody. Every week. It's that like, I don't know what the word is, like instinct to say every week, but it's every other week.
Right.
Every other week we book a dream match here on the podcast. If you missed last episode where we had special guest Billy Celio on from Upper Deck Sports, please go check that out. It was a lot of fun to talk to him about the AEW trading cards and the upcoming sets, and how the AEW trading cards were created and the plan for them in the future. It's really exciting. If you enjoy what we do here on the podcast, please check out old episodes, because we got a whole back catalog of them, fun feuds, some that came true, ? And some that will never come true. But check it out on all podcast apps, or come watch the video version on YouTube. This week, Anthony, I had an idea based off of the Royal Rumble happening last month. And we got, in my opinion, a very fun match between the It couple, Miz and Maurice, versus the Grit couple of Edge and Beth Phoenix. And it made me think, like, what was fun about that match to me personally was, and the feud building up to it was like Edge and Beth being like total wrestling nerds and like doing a bunch of like famous tag team finishers. Like they did the 3D, they did the heart attack, they did the Legion of Doom finisher. Like they clearly like love old school tag team wrestling and want to and use it as an opportunity to pay a homage to their like heroes. But then I thought, who would be cool? Because, you know, people love the idea of power couples. Who are some power couples that you would say are like big in professional wrestling?
Well, I think there's a power couple that has been on the mind of everybody since news broke this week that the Rhodes will be leaving AEW for greener pastures or for a place where they were before. So I would say Brandy and Cody are probably a power couple. I wouldn't like necessarily make them a power couple in the ring, but in terms of a wrestling couple, they're right up there.
I also think one that didn't necessarily work on TV, but like people say they're a power couple is Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. Like they are definitely a power couple, but like it just, you go back to that feud that they had with Corbin and Lacey Evans, and it's like, ooh.
How about Stephanie McMahon and Papa H? That's that's got to be a power couple, right?
It's true. They've had a number of tag team matches together. But I was thinking probably the most fun power couple for Beth and Edge to face would be
Keith Lee and Mia Yim. Just kidding.
Actually, that'd be pretty fun. That'd be pretty fun.
I know what you're gonna say.
That'd be pretty fun. No, I got to thinking, you know, who on the indies right now is having honestly one of the best runs of anyone right now, and that's got to be Matt Cardona. You know, he just won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. He's the Impact Social Media Championship. Is that what it is? Digital Media Championship.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, and he's just like killing it. Like he's in like 3 different promotions right now, and he's like having the time of his life. And alongside him is, of course, Chelsea Green, who is, you know, when she was let go from WWE, basically took a page out of Matt's book and went, I'm strapping a rocket to this. I don't care. And just took off with their podcast, being an Impact. She's now teaming with Mickie James. Like it's all this sort of stuff. And she's there alongside Matt the entire way, taking insane bumps for him.
Yeah, that's true. And also Chelsea Green, before she came to the WWE and NXT, was really awesome in Impact as Laurel Van Ness. A hot mess, very, very good character work. And also shout out to Chelsea Green for being a Canadian legend from Victoria, BC.
And so I thought the idea of what if the Grit couple of Edge and Beth Phoenix faced off against always ready, Matt Cardona, and hot mess Chelsea Green.
That's good. That's good. Also, Chelsea Green allegedly owes friend of the podcast, RJ City, $10. So yeah, let's just.
I don't know if I want to get in. I don't know if I want to get in the middle of that, because I think out of the two of them, Chelsea scares me the most. So true. If I would be like, hey, RJ, it's $10. But anyways,
it's the principle of it, you know. If it was really about the $10.
Well, Chelsea, you know which side I've taken, so just for the future. So
split right down the middle.
Yeah. What the first thing obviously is like trying to figure out where this would be. I feel like it would be a insane GCW feud. Like imagine if like Beth and Edge get their swan song of being in WWE. They go out of it with a bang and they leave. And then here you have Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green living the high life on the indies. Maybe Matt wins the GCW World Championship.
Who's the GCW champion right now?
Right now, I think it's still Moxley.
Okay. All right.
I think so.
Okay, that would be crazy if Edge like re-debuted or debuted in the indies. Has he? Yeah,
it's Moxley's.
I guess he's never like been a part of like the new age indies, right? Like Edge pretty much was, you know, I'm unfamiliar with his origins, which is my fault, but it seems like he basically spent the majority of his career in the WWE and then was hurt and then left for a really, really long time wrestling altogether. So
yeah, I mean, like he was on the independents mostly just like really small areas, and like I think he did like WCW for like a little tiny bit.
Okay.
But like most, and like he did like what does it say here? Yeah, he was in like ICW for a little bit in like 1997, but otherwise like it was more just like really small promotions, like nothing big. And then in 1998, that's when him and Christian like were in the WWE and like basically there ever since.
I see. Okay.
So, but he's familiar with the independent world because he like supports a lot of it. And what was it? There was that like photo of him, a photo that he took because he went and saw the match between FTR and the Rock and Roll Express. Everybody was like, holy shit, Edge was there that night. And no one knew.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so it's like, it would be a huge thing. Like it's actually quite funny how there's a lot of like, it's hard to say like big, huge time legends showing up in GCW. Because it's like someone would probably say, like, in my opinion, like X-Pac and Jeff Jarrett are like big time old school legends. To some people, they might not be. But I think it's a crazy thing that you're getting X-Pac, Jeff Jarrett, Sky 2 Hotty, like showing up there and having these like matches and feuds. Because like they were the, you know, classic, like, well, except for Jeff Jarrett, but like they were like the Fed dudes. Like they were with the company for so long, and for them to show up and it's like, nah, wrestling is wrestling, man, is really cool.
Yeah. And I think this also goes to show that the indies are getting bigger, and there are certain indies that are really drawing a lot of attention, which makes it kind of worthwhile for these people to appear and to have one-offs or to feud, because it's like you're extending your career, you're building your brand outside of the Fed or, the main promotion that you spent your time in. And it kind of opens the door for you to work everywhere and anywhere once you start popping up at these like bigger indies, which has kind of been the case for Matt Cardona. Like now he's just kind of flying around all over the place. Is he still the NWA champion? He won it recently. That's pretty crazy. Yeah.
By the time this episode comes out, I believe he still will be. I think the next NWA pay-per-view, it's him versus why am I forgetting his name? He held the championship.
Is it Nick Aldis?
Yeah, Nick Aldis.
Okay, I see. That guy doesn't need another reign as the NWA champion. He's like the Roman Reigns of the NWA.
No, I assume my prediction is that Matt will beat him, and then they're going to build up someone else to come in. I think it was smart to try to strap the Rocket to Matt, just because, like, I don't know. I like Trevor Murdoch a lot, but I feel like it's not like I don't feel like he is a commercially like sellable champion.
Yeah. I think for hardcore fans and for marks, like we can obviously appreciate the work of Trevor Murdoch, but for a person just generally getting into the promotion, he's not like the sexiest champion. You're like he's like this like big dude who is like a bit older and like he can work. He can absolutely fucking work. But you're like, if you're watching a promotion, and especially like people coming from watching WWE, which is such like a polished product and which has every champion pretty much like looks either super intimidating or is like model-esque or picture perfect, and you go to another promotion and you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna check this out, and you see people there maybe more regular looking and
that's
less like
NWA
commercially produced. You're like, oh, what?
Yeah, well,
but Matt Cardona is a nice blend of that.
Yeah, it's like NWA is the promotion that's like, we want to be like old school. We want to like, like you could say the same thing about Dusty. You could say the same thing about Arn Anderson. Like they all were like the everyman man. And Murdoch is like that. I just think that it's like in the world where the independents are like blooming and you're trying to get as much eyes on the product as possible. It's like having like a young, interesting, like larger than life, like dude, like Cardona is a good bet to try to start bringing more and more people in. And then you can try to get like fans to latch on to the people that you want to promote. By like making them feel like you can connect to them and that they're relatable and stuff like that. So
I think it's important to get eyes on the product first with somebody who is like, doing flashy and exciting things, which is what Matt Cardona has been doing for the last like couple months.
But I think the way that this could work is like, the other thing too is there's a lot of fun like interconnecting weaves between these two couples. Like it's the fact that Cardona was one of the Edge heads. Him and when it was Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, they were the Edge heads. They were Edge's like lackeys when he was champion in like 2010, something like that. Before he had to retire early. So there is that connection. And like, I remember watching the classic WWE Network TV or program Ride Along.
Damn.
And there was 2 episodes that were really funny. And it was Ryder and Hawkins. And in the middle of their ride along, they phoned Edge and Christian, and like you could tell that they are like back and forth, like ribbing each other. And then the same thing happens when it's Edge and Christian in the car, and then they call Cardona and like rib him and stuff. But like there was also, I remember them talking about like really sentimental moment of when they won the tag team championships at WrestleMania before they were fired. And they're like, we have to get a picture backstage with Edge and Christian because like they were their idols. So
yeah,
there's that whole connection. There's obviously the Canadian connection. Beth Phoenix trained in the dungeon, the Heart Dungeon. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
but Beth Phoenix is not Canadian, correct?
No, she's from New York. So basically, I know she came to Canada to like train and stuff, but yeah, it's like there's a lot of connections there. There'd be some great back and forths between them, but I guess it's how set up when, where, and why. And I think
and also who are the heels and who are the faces here?
Oh, it's like, it's gotta be. I mean, it's right or geez, I was about to say Ryder. Cardona and Green are heels. Like I was legitimately so surprised at how long Cardona went in Impact in his current run as a face. Like, because I was like, well, he's a face here, but he's a heel in GCW and he's a heel in NWA. Why is he a face here? And then he attacks Jordan Grace and takes her championship. It's like, yeah, he's finally a heel in Impact. Good. But they're definitely heels. There's no way that you would have Edge and Beth show up anywhere and try to have them boo.
Okay. All right. So I think there's also potential, I think, for Beth to be like, Chelsea, I don't know why you're doing this and you're taking these spots for your man and this, when I saw so much potential from you when you were in NXT. And when you were a WWE product,
she was in NXT when Beth was in NXT. I think for a very short period.
There was maybe like a brief crossover when they probably would have been around at the same time, but she saw so much potential, and you just had a lot of bad luck.
I mean, it's because Cardona loves to, like, if you watch any Cardona match, he loves to have a callback to something in the wrestling world. Like he loves to poke fun at the things that people look at as being so nostalgic. Like if you just look at his if you watch Cardona versus Joey Janela from GCW at the Hammerstein, that entire match has like so many callbacks to so many random wrestling moments where like he came in with a plaid vest that on the back said "fuck McFoley." He came out to like a version of Sandman that had like they took his entrance music and took the lyrics and put it over the Sandman music. He came out and he did the Triple H spit water and everything in the middle of the match when oh God, why am I blanking on his name? Myers. When Myers, Myers shows, or Janela's about to win, and then all of a sudden someone slides in the ring and they're wearing a black trench coat and a motorcycle helmet and they spear Janela. And like, that's a callback to ECW One Night Stand when Edge showed up and speared John Cena and then RVD won the WWE Championship. Like that's a callback to that, and then he reveals it, and it's Brian Myers. Like they love calling back to like so many past moments and so many things. It's like, how could that get involved in how this feud builds? My first thought is like, imagine if Cardona won the GCW championship against Moxley.
Yeah.
And him and Chelsea are in the ring. Trash is being thrown from the audience. And then slides in the ring someone in a black trench coat and a motorcycle helmet. They spear Chelsea Green.
Oh.
And they stand up face to face against Cardona, and they're like, and Cardona's like, who the fuck are you? Like whatever. And then he pulls off the helmet, and it's Beth Phoenix.
Yeah. And then Edge runs in and turns Matt Cardona around and whatever, hits him with the music move.
Or the music hits. And Cardona's just so like incensed that Beth is there, and it's just like, what the hell? Like, who are you? And everybody's like, Beth. And then all you hear is, you think you know me. Lights go out.
Whoa.
Lights come back on. Edge is standing there, and he's just like, he's doing his thing. He's like, come on.
Oh yeah. Oh, I guess like if they're face to face, right? Beth and Matt Cardona in the ring, and then she like takes off the bicycle helmet, or not the bicycle, the motorbike helmet, and then he's like, "What the hell? Blah 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 blah." And then the "You think you know me," lights down, lights up, and Edge is right there at the turnbuckle doing the thing, and then he spears Cardona.
Turns around, Cardona turns around, spear, and then it's Edge and Beth are in GCW.
Yeah, and that's pretty exciting. That's pretty cool. But where does it go from here? And is it still in GCW, or now because they're free from the WWE, they can, I guess, bounce wherever Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green are?
Well, so far the GCW stuff hasn't really translated over to any other promotion. Like Nick Gage was in AEW. But like, and they acknowledged the promotion, but like, they didn't really do anything else with that. Like everybody, during that Nick Gage versus Jericho feud, everybody kind of thought that Moxley would get involved, or they thought there'd be a lot more crossover, but it was just a standard death match.
Standard death match
between the two of them, and there was no other relationship to GCW other than that, right?
Right.
So I think it would just stay in GCW, because GCW is great with having these small little shows where, and the bigger events are really hyped up. But then you have smaller events where I was surprised, what was it? Just before the Hammerstein, they had an event, and it was where Jeff Jarrett showed up and smashed a guitar over Allie Katch's head. And I watched her whole promo just before that moment. And it's such a passionate promo, and it was really cool because it was setting up Allie versus Ruby Soho at Hammerstein.
Oh, and didn't Jeff Jarrett smash a guitar on Effie as well?
That was before.
Oh,
he did. He smashed a guitar. He smashed a guitar on Effie, and because Allie Katch and Effie are a tag team, and they had their mixed tag match against Cardona and Chelsea before that. But he showed up, he smashed a guitar over Effie. He then showed up and smashed a guitar over Allie. And then it was Jarrett versus Effie at Hammerstein. But what I'm saying is that Allie was doing her promo, setting up her versus Ruby. And the crowd was it was like a gymnasium. It was small. And that's cool. But like I think GCW understands that, like, even though the crowds are going to be small and like the venues aren't going to be that insane, it's not going to be like a huge giant crowd, but you can still get a lot of buzz going with like social media.
Right. I do think it may be worth to have like Beth Phoenix drop into an Impact or something like that, and and wrestle like Chelsea. It like isn't necessarily like they don't have to mention all the GCW stuff, but I think like it's just like worth to build tension between the different parties, to have Edge and Beth appear in different places but wrestle Chelsea and or Matt.
I don't know. I don't really know what Chelsea is right now in Impact. I think that she's a face because she's teaming and like doing stuff with Mickie James. I don't know if that's trying to lead up to possibly a feud between the two of them. Let's say it does. And let's say it's that Chelsea turns on Mickie and tries to go for the Impact Women's Championship. Maybe during this whole time, then Mickie is like, well, I brought some backup. And then Beth Phoenix shows up and they can allude to that Chelsea and Beth have been feuding outside of Impact. And then that can just help build that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we get the opportunity to be like, I have watched you throughout your career, Chelsea. I think you had so much potential, but just luck was not on your side, and you were hurt so much. And right now, I don't think you're on the right path. And Beth is being very honorable and righteous. And Chelsea is, at this point, if she is really, turning heel and going for the Impact Women's Champion, she could be like, you don't know me.
Well,
you don't know.
The fun thing is like, what I think is great about GCW especially is that like it gives the freedom of like the promos to their wrestlers, like, and like true freedom. Cause like I've seen some of their promos and I'm like, oh, they don't care. They don't try to censor them at all. They just let them go. Cause they understand like you're the selling point. And like I've seen some of Cardona's promos after stuff in GCW, and it's always very emotional and very serious. And so it's like, this is where I think Beth and Edge could have a lot of fun. And like, what I've been loving is how Beth has taken on this, like, has like really dug into like the mom character, or like how she's been called. She calls her, and like people online call her Auntie Beth. And like I think that would be fun, where it's like it might be like the not necessarily overly motherly figure, but like the respect your elders, or like I know exactly where you came from, and so I don't think you're on the right path following in your husband's footsteps or things like that. Or it's like maybe she is also like, you don't need him to put you in danger. Like, you are talented enough, a strong enough performer yourself, that you don't have to latch on to whatever this craziness is that's going on outside of Impact. Like, you don't have to be a part of that. You can just do whatever you want, because you are a talented, strong individual, and you should be doing things the right way. And it's like, oh, damn. Oh, okay. I think what Chelsea can rebuttal with is, at least my accomplishments aren't overshadowed by my husband's. And it's like, and like, I think Chelsea can put over Beth as like, you are the inspiration for a lot of women. But I get like, obviously the thing I always struggle with whenever we do this stuff is like trying to think of like, how would someone promo something? And I always feel like when we say something like that, people might sit there and think like, oh, is that what you really think about Beth Phoenix? Like, no, of course not. I'm trying to think of what a heel would want to say to Beth in that situation. Of course not. Of course, Edge and Beth have had 2 incredible careers and are Hall of Famers. But it's like, what would a heel try to say to someone like Beth? And it is that thing of like, I remember during the Royal Rumble, they were like, Edge and Beth have a total of 14. It was like something like that. It was like a total of 14 championships between the 2 of them. And it's like, well, 11 of those are Edge's.
That's like Wayne Gretzky and his brother are like were the highest scoring siblings in the NHL, but like Wayne Gretzky's brother has like 4 goals and Wayne Gretzky has all of the other ones.
So it's like Chelsea could play into something like that. And like, yeah, it's this thing of like, I think the feud between Beth and Chelsea is this thing of like, you know, not necessarily a young up and comer, because Chelsea has been champion before and like will definitely be a champion in the future. I'm sure of it. But it's this thing of like legend versus like someone that wants to overseat them in a way. Well, I think Edge and Matt, I think Edge's whole thing is that like it is that teacher versus apprentice sort of deal. But I think more than anything, like Edge would just straight out come out and be like, so how's been living off of my name since you got fired from WWE? How has been stealing all of my gimmicks, like and all of like my moments and stuff? How's that been? That's been working out for you, hasn't it? Seems like you can't really think of anything original there, can you, Cardona?
Once an edgehead, always an edgehead. It's like, no, that's not who I am.
Yeah.
And that was in another company when I wasn't allowed to do what I want, to be the person that I am, to be a badass.
It's like Edge would definitely say like, all you've done is all like, I gotta hand it to you. Like, of course, that's the usual face thing. It's like, I gotta hand it to you. You've done extremely well for yourself. And it's just that they could just easily say like, but it seems like you and Myers can't seem to get my name or my legacy out of your mouth.
Right.
It's like, can you do one moment in a match that doesn't have to relate to me or any other legend that you've lost to, or that's thrown you aside because you weren't good enough?
That's a little heelish from but it's Edge. Old Edge there.
But it's true. Edge. Edge is heelish.
Yeah.
Edge is brutally honest.
Yeah, I think it's important for him to be like, what are you? Like, who are you? Like, do you have your own personality, your own thing? Because it seems like you're just stealing from everybody's memories and putting yourself over.
Living off nostalgia.
It's true. I mean, like, it's because it's like, oh, what do? You buy old wrestling toys. You you talk about all the glory days of this and that, and you're doing everybody's moves, and there's nothing original about you, Matt Cardona. And I see right through that.
You talk about WWE being your developmental. WWE was my developmental too. But I turned it into my legacy.
Woof. Yeah, that's a good line.
And then I think Cardona can easily do the young heel thing of like, I respected you.
Yeah.
And when I needed you the most, you turned your back on me.
Yeah, you could have told Vince not to fire me.
When I needed help from the boys in the back, you weren't there.
You never stuck up for me. Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. Or then he's like, I'm building my own legacy how I see fit. And in this new legacy, there's no room for old geezers like you. I've already taken out X-Pac. I've already I've already dealt with who else? He's the Rock and Roll Express. I've already dealt with like, yeah, he just goes through the list of like these legends that he's basically like turned on.
So are there any matches between Edge and Cardona before the big mixed gendered banger, or are we just kind of like booking to get towards that?
The indies honestly feel, and GCW kind of feel more like that sort of old style, like where it was like you don't have a weekly TV show to do this stuff. You have like a show a month where you can like slowly build. Like Cardona and Janela wasn't a match. Like it was, or like it ended up being a match, but it was like they did that whole like weird social media thing of like this whole ploy of like that right after Chelsea and Matt got married, she started cheating on him with Janela. And that was just Chelsea being a double agent of like, I'm going to pretend to do this. But then in the match, she reveals like, oh no, I did it. Like I did just to screw with you, Janela, to make you think I was on your side, but I'm not at all. But like that was all like social media stuff. And then I think there was one show where they like played to it. And then there was one, and then the show just before Hammerstein, Cardona faced off against like one of the Rock and Roll Express dudes and then like attacked him. And then Janela came out and saved him. And so it built to that. And they did like a whole, like they did this whole video of like Janela and Cardona like fighting and like, so if you don't watch the major wrestling figure podcasts or like their YouTube channel or anything like that, there's this dude that Cardona goes to all the time. And it's this guy. He's a really weird dude, but it's really funny.
Super Gabby.
Yeah. Where he has that like storage unit full of toys.
Yeah. Super Gabby.
So they did a video where like it's like supposed to be a vlog and he pulls up and Gabby's like, dude, I told you not to come by this time. He's like, well, I was early. Like I just went to the gym and like, I'm here now. And then it turns into cinematic. And then him and Janela fight all through Gabby's store and like hit each other with wrestling toys. Yeah.
Oh no. Oh, poor Super Gabby. That's so funny.
And so yeah, they made it more like a cinematic thing of just like the two of them fighting, and it had like some comedy bits to it, but like at the same time it was still very serious. So I think this is where you could get really creative with like, yeah, you could have Beth show up on Impact and have that.
Like I think they should be doing stuff there, and like that can like help build the tension of Beth and Chelsea, and that way like we're still getting some interaction there, and that way we can of course turn Chelsea, because if she is indeed a face in Impact right now, we need to make her a heel to bring up her heelness to match with Cardona when they inevitably face Edge and Beth at the GCW. But like, what is Edge doing? Like, he's not really a social media kind of guy. He's not really
but I think within GCW you can have something with that. It's not like, I'm not saying like, oh, Edge starts vlogging and like I think it's more like you build it through like videos and stuff on there where it's like interviews, or like they do shoot like a scripted sort of thing of Edge showing up and like, or like Cardona attacking Edge at like a gym or something like that, or like an event. I thought I had this idea of like an Impact, like Cardona has a match or something, and then the the screen turns on and it's a video of Edge. It's a video of Edge showing up at Cardona's house and destroying his toy room.
Oh,
but it's all faked and stuff. It's like a fake room with toys and stuff.
That's pretty funny. He's like, I think like before that, there's a fun opportunity for Edge maybe to do a podcast or an interview on like a Busted Open or
get
wrestling,
something like that. Yeah.
Or something like that, where he has the opportunity to cut more of a promo on Matt Cardona about being someone who lives off of nostalgia, who doesn't have a real personality. And it's like, it's all kind of like a shoot.
Yeah.
Or it's a work. So he's just really working the host, and maybe he's just like, I think he is just trying to be me. Like he doesn't have anything original, and then that's what Matt Cardona takes like big offense to, and then maybe he can go off on Impact or in the next GCW event where he has to defend his title. He can win and very openly be like, Edge, you piece of shit.
Could we end up getting this feud is specifically like Edge and Beth versus Cardona and Chelsea. Could we end up getting a Major Brothers versus Edge and Christian?
Yeah, that could be like a part of it, like I think
because Christian was the Impact champion recently.
Yeah.
And so and you get to have the Edge attack Cardona, and then Myers shows up, and then Christian shows up, and then at a big Impact pay-per-view you have Edge and Christian versus the Major Brothers, and
and then you could have Chelsea versus Beth as well on that same pay-per-view. So that way, I mean, I guess we're moving it to Impact a little bit, but
it's just a good place.
The main attraction, the main attraction is still, I think, the mixed tag match at GCW. But I think to set it up, also you have to have Chelsea do some sneaky shit.
Yes,
in the tag team match to help Matt Cardona and Brian win. Because I think they have to go over.
It's just the fact that GCW is not a weekly promotion, and so you only get I think GCW would be great for A, social media excitement, and B, having these moments at these events and getting the GCW audience really hyped about it. Obviously, some of the biggest reveals at these GCW shows have been insane, like Scotty Too Hottie showing up, or Jeff, when these guys have shown up, it's everybody loses their mind because these are all super hardcore fans. But to get to continue a story and a little bit Impact is great because there is a relationship there, and also they have the weekly show, and you can kind of let little things play out that are leading to the bigger things. So and I think we do have to pull the trigger on Cardona and Chelsea getting some wins over Edge and Beth. I think Chelsea would beat Beth in Impact, because if she is going for the title and she's going to face Mickie James, she does have to get through the support that Mickie James brought in. I think she cheats to win.
Yeah, of course. Because I also think that Chelsea will help Matt and Brian Myers beat Edge and Christian as well. Some way, somehow.
I feel like Edge and Christian would win.
But then it's not the thing is, if you put Edge and Christian over,
you can have Edge pin Myers.
Yeah, I guess that works. Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter, honestly. That's the thing.
No.
Is in those situations where it's like a dream match or like a really big event, it's like it doesn't really matter because it's not like it's like leading to anything substantial. It's just like, I think like having Chelsea beat Beth would be a good call because it's helping guide her towards something substantial of like trying to win the Impact Women's Championship,
right,
or the Knockouts Championship. While Edge and Christian, and it's two teams that are it's four guys that are really know each other, are really great friends in real life. You know, you have the OG, you have a team that's basically the heroes to the other team, and they're bad guys, and so it's going to be this whole thing of like who wins out in the end. And I think it is like, it's the fact that you have these legends beating these kind of, you know, new age guys, just because they have that history and they are seasoned and veterans and stuff like that. And it could be close, but then it's like they just come out in the end with their tag team finisher. And
what is the Edge and Christian tag team finisher?
It's something.
Because I think that Myers and Cardona try to finish the match on that, but they can't do it. Like, it gets broken up, and then Edge and Christian get the tag team finisher on Myers, and then Edge can pin Myers, and that's how that ends. Probably. That's how I envision that to go. I honestly can't remember what it is, which is very embarrassing because I do very much enjoy tag team wrestling.
The concerto, the double flapjack, double missile drop kick, double spear, sidewalk slam into a falling reverse DDT, stack superplex.
Also, I think just for the lulls, I think Cardona and Myers should come out as Christian and Edge when they're in the Brood.
I was thinking it's either they come out. I was thinking they either come out as Brood or they come out as OG Edge and Christian with the wraparound sunglasses. They do the
better
7-second pose.
That's
they
better.
Have the kazoos.
Yeah, that's way better.
And then Edge and Christian can come out as Brood. But it's like, it's not like Brood where they're like wearing the frilly clothes. It's more like how Edge does the Brood now, where he's just like hardcore.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
I think that's Gangrel cool. shows up and turns both Matt and Myers into vampires.
Now we're getting into some Lucha Underground type shit.
No,
that's Lucha.
Honestly, what would be way funnier is if they did have this match and then Chelsea does try to interfere and then Gangrel shows up.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. And just like scares off Chelsea. Like nothing really happens. It's just like he just appears and he has a mouth that's just full of blood. And he's like, That's pretty funny.
So then this mixed tag team match in GCW. Do we make it a hardcore match, or is it just a tag team match?
I think it has to be. I think for the sake of the GCW fandom, and for all the tensions boiling over, we got to throw them into another hardcore match.
Yeah. I mean, there's some GCW does do some really good, just like straight up matches. But it's like,
but if it's the main event, like,
but you do. I mean, that's also a good tension between them, where Cardona has been calling himself the king of hardcore. And then you have Edge, who literally defeated a hardcore legend at WrestleMania and speared him through a flaming fucking table.
Yep. There should be a flaming table spot in this match as well. But instead of
okay, here's my two options.
Okay, all right, yeah, you go first.
Here's my two options. Cardona does the Rough Rider to Edge through a flaming table. Beth gives Chelsea a glam slam through a flaming table. Both are insane.
That's true. That's true.
Anyway, what were you gonna say?
I was just saying that like there should be a flaming table, and that Edge would be attempting to spear Cardona, and he moves out of the way, and Chelsea gets speared through the flaming table.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, because that's some classic shit right there. And I think Chelsea Green, the person, would be very honored to receive that spear from one Canadian legend to another.
Lord. I mean, yeah, the match would be crazy. Like, you just you could easily just use it to call back to like a ton of spots, like a ton of huge spots where it's like, gosh, thumbtacks. What else do we got? Yeah, barbed wire. Cardona could call back to the WrestleMania match and do the thing where Mick Foley came out and he was wearing a bunch of clothes and stuff, and people are kind of like, why is he all dressed up? Like he was wearing like a shirt and sweater and stuff like that. And then Edge spears him, and then Edge is like he's got like a super hurt shoulder and everything. And then Mick Foley takes off his sweater and reveals that he has barbed wire wrapped around him.
Yeah,
and so Cardona could do something similar where it's like he like puts like something underneath himself so that Edge spears him and like hurts his shoulder, and then he's like, haha, I planned this.
Yeah, or it's like it could absolutely be a spot where he knows that Edge is setting up for a spear, and he like grabs something and he like puts it underneath his shirt, or like he's like holding on to it so that when he turns around, Edge can like basically jump right into barbed wire, like some, I don't know, like a chair or something. Like,
oh, it's
putting a chair underneath your shirt.
Yeah, no. no. It's better for a surprise, because then it's a callback. It's like that was the whole thing. It was like, oh, Edge speared Mick Foley. This is the end. Why is Edge not covering him? And then Mick Foley gets up and he reveals, haha, I have something here. So it's like Cardona would 100% do the exact same thing, or just have it be a different thing underneath his shirt.
It's so brutal to wrestle an entire match with barbed wire, like a barbed wire vest on. Oh, but maybe. Oh, okay. Well, maybe there's that classic sort of intergender thing where
we just talked about we just talked about putting someone through a flaming table.
yeah. But maybe they also do that classic heel thing where like Matt Cardona is like he's like actively avoiding Edge in the match for some reason, and it's like, I don't think this would be an actual tag team match. If it's going to be a hardcore match, then tags don't matter. Fuck. It'd be a tornado match. You basically have him avoiding.
Yeah,
Edge because
I think if it was a traditional tag team match, then sure. But I think since it's a hardcore match, then you definitely have to. It would more be a tornado tag where everybody's in at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What else do we have here? Like, what are some other big moments? I think you definitely have Edge. You definitely have Edge
and Beth doing classic tag team finishers. Like,
I think they probably have to do a tag team finisher spamming moment where it's like Edge and Beth get one, Matt and Chelsea get one, Edge and Beth get another one. Yeah, Chelsea get another one.
Well, it's like you can have them do a heart attack. Have them do a 3D. You could have Edge and Beth do a big rig FTR.
Yeah.
Since like,
but also I think it would be really funny if, I mean, I don't know who it would be funnier for, if Matt was like, Chelsea, get the table.
That would be funny.
And then doing a 3D. I think that would probably be funnier than Edge being like, Beth, get the table. But
that would be really funny.
Definitely that.
I think they just start pulling out like a classic tag team finisher moments. What would be a good finish?
Before the finish, do you think, I just kind of want to see this potentially happen. Do you think that Chelsea could do a swanton bomb? Do you think?
I don't know. I don't think she's that that much of a high flyer.
Yeah, because I don't know that I've ever seen her do like a moonsault or anything like that. So I'm like, I was like, oh, it would be kind of sick to see her do a swanton bomb off a ladder.
Cardona and Chelsea do Cardona does a twist of fate and then Chelsea does a swanton bomb. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that's funny.
What's another good finisher? I'm trying to think of tag team finishers. It's tough. Especially like good old school tag team finishers.
And because GCW
stuff that I'm not missing.
Because GCW and Matt Cardona's matches are always overbooked. I think there's going to be so many run-ins, and I think one of the run-ins is going to be Christian. And because Christian and Chelsea both use the unprettier, I think it would be awesome for Chelsea to unprettier or kill switch, whatever you like to call it, and do that to Christian.
That'd be funny.
And mess him up. Mm-hmm. Put him through a table, baby.
That'd be good. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. And then Myers can get speared by Edge or take a glam slam from Beth or something. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be really funny. Definitely got to have some crazy hardcore moment between Beth and Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like barbed wire is too much.
I think we have our barbed wires. I think we have our barbed wire spot right now with the vest.
I think it's definitely got to be like a glam slam or something through like a table or
onto tacks.
Stack of chair. Ooh, that'd be rough. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
So then what's the
or like the two chairs set up like side by side in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
And it's like boom. And then there's tacks underneath.
What would be the finish is the question.
Well, if Chelsea doesn't get speared through a flaming table, I think that maybe Matt Cardona gets speared through a flaming door. Because then this could be the finish. You could do the glam slam through the chairs for Beth and Chelsea, and then Matt Cardona could be set, like he could be like getting up to grab a weapon or something, and maybe he's planning to use the door, so he sets the door on fire, but he turns around and Edge catches him, and they both go through the door.
Wow, that'd be crazy.
Yeah,
so much fire.
Yeah, yeah. So then like Edge pulls Matt Cardona 1, 2, 3, and then he goes to check on Beth to make sure she's okay. And Chelsea Green is just like face down in the middle of the ring, chairs everywhere, like tacks, all over it.
I think, and then you have Edge, Beth, and then Christian comes back in and like raises Beth's hand and
both their arms. Yeah. That would be nice.
The crowd goes wild.
Yeah,
friggin', and they're just drenched in blood. Sweat. That'd be insane. That'd be crazy. Yeah. Oh man, that'd be such a wild match. But it'd just be so fun. I'm sure there's some fans out there that are like, that don't like that style, like in terms of not like the hardcore. I mean, more of the doing a bunch of callbacks and stuff. I'm sure there's some fans that don't really like that stuff because they feel like, oh yeah, you're just clicking into nostalgia. But like, it is really fun. It just is really, really fun that it's like, there are wrestlers out there that it's like, no, I know what the past is. I know what I grew up loving. I know what the people that are watching now grew up in what they love. And it's just fun to call back to these moments and stuff, especially having these like legends call back to these moments as well. And I just think it'd be a ton of fun and a great like swan song for like Edge and Beth to like go out on, or like have a big moment that like kind of is theirs.
Yeah, I think it's really cool to just be able to do that.
It'd be huge for Chelsea and Cardona.
Yeah, and GCW, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
Huge match.
But there we go.
That's it. Yeah,
that's the dream match. So please let us know, lovely listener or viewer at home, how would you try to book Chelsea Green and Matt Cardona versus Edge and Beth Phoenix? Would it be in WWE? Would it be in GCW? Would it be in A&W? Would it be at A&W? Would they be eating burgers?
Danhausen flipping burgers in the back.
Yeah, he's got his 2 contract Danhausen, one with AEW, one with A&W, because the and sign looks like an E. Jesus,
they should do a co-promotion. Like, I think there's a really good opportunity for A&W and AEW to get some sort of meal together.
A&W sent Danhausen like welcome package like with like an actual like you are hired like thing. So anyways, please let us know in the comments or in your review of the podcast if you want to do so. Let us know what your dream match would be, and let us know how you would want to book it. As always, we always close out the show with a question of the week and a match recommendation. You can leave your questions for us either on social media, on Twitter, in the comments, or on our website, unknownerafilms.com/bookitvince, where we have all our episodes, all our match recommendations, and you can go ahead there and leave a comment or a question that you want us to answer here on the pod. I guess this week, I think a fun question would definitely be, we're gearing up to like Mania season. And so there's a lot of predictions. There's a lot of like big, like what could happen next? What's gonna be the big thing that comes out of WrestleMania, and even Revolution's coming up too. I guess it's like, we did that whole prediction video, but I think it's like with Mania, it's like, what do you hope is the big thing that comes out of Mania? Or like, I guess, what do you hope is the big change that comes out of this year's Mania?
I want Roman Reigns to lose, but that's obviously not going to happen until they get The Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania in Hollywood. So. Do you think
Roman is going to hold the Universal Championship till next Mania?
Yes.
That'd be insane. He would be the longest reigning champion ever.
Yeah, I know. And that's
he's already technically the longest reigning champion under Vince McMahon.
It's insane.
What was Bruno Sammartino's reign?
I just think that like that's the blow off that they're looking for. But then he has to lose.
Whoa, never mind. I don't think this is happening.
What?
Bruno Sammartino held the I mean, it's not technically the WWE championship, but it kind of is. Anyways, 2,803 days.
Oof. It's a long time.
Which is 2,803 days in years. That was over 7.5 years.
All right.
Imagine Roman holding the Universal Championship for 8 years.
I would steal the belt. So
he held the championship for longer than some people's careers.
That's very terrible. But in all reality, I think like I do want to see somebody beat Roman.
Right.
I don't know that it will happen. It probably won't at Mania. But maybe Seth wins at WWE Blood Money, and maybe Cody debuts sometime soon, and Cody wins at WrestleMania. I don't know. What about you, Marty? What would you like to see at Mania?
My hope that coming out of this year's Mania, honestly, is like, so we're recording this the day of Elimination Chamber, and actually Elimination Chamber is happening as we're speaking.
The Chamber match right now?
No, I'm trying to see.
Oh,
I'm trying to see live results as I'm talking now. Anyways, so last night was the taped episode of SmackDown, and
Smacketh.
Sorry, I'm reading the results right now. Okay, interesting.
Of Chamber?
Yeah. Which we can talk about if we want to. This episode's going
just is it something crazy? Just
no.
If it's something of incredible importance, let me know. But if it's not, I'll check it afterwards.
What I was going to say is that Sami Zayn won the Intercontinental Championship off of Shinsuke Nakamura. I know that there's rumors that Sami Zayn is going to defend the Intercontinental Championship against Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania, which I know some people don't like it. I think that it's a great idea because Sami is probably the best booked person in WWE right now. He has all of the best spots. He doesn't wrestle every single week, but when he does wrestle, he puts on a banger. And I hope that out of Mania, he puts like respect back onto the Intercontinental Championship, because Shinsuke held it for 6 months and defended it twice. And I love Shinsuke, but I feel like the Intercontinental Championship is the workhorse title. And I know that Sami is not a workhorse champion, but I just hope that there will be more opportunities to have people build up and challenge for the title, and that it will just be more involved, because I love the Intercontinental Championship and I just want to see it utilized more than what it has been. Anyways, you want to hear some
dream matches like I was just gonna make a joke. I was like, I'm talking dream matches with Sami Zayn and Commander Aziz. I'm talking dream matches between Sami Zayn and Madcap Moss. I'm talking dream matches between Sami Zayn and Tony D.
You want to hear quickly what the results so far of Elimination Chamber are?
Yeah, sure. Hit me.
Rey Mysterio defeated The Miz in a singles match on the pre-show.
Okay.
Roman Reigns defeated Goldberg via referee stoppage. He got himself DQ'd. Bianca Belair wins the Elimination Chamber to become #1 contender.
So it's going to be Bianca versus
Becky.
Or
Lita. We don't know yet. Supposedly that's on next. Is Becky versus Lita is on next. But I assume it's going to be Bianca and Becky, because that makes sense, because then it's going to be justification for SummerSlam, and then they can build Bianca back up to being a major babyface and have her win at Mania and all that. Good stuff. It also made sense.
All of that.
It made sense. It looks like it was the final two are Alexa Bliss and Bianca Belair. So there might be a feud of that coming up.
Is Alexa Bliss back to being a normal human being, or is she still like kind of a demon?
I don't know. I'll have to watch the match.
All right.
Because it seemed like she was back to like the goddess character kind of, but I don't know. But anyways, there's your results of halfway through Elimination Chamber. And this comes out 3 days after Elimination Chamber is over. So there you go, audience. Enjoy that. To finish the episode, match recommendation. Anthony, hit us with your match recommendation this week.
Yeah, let's go and watch Matt Cardona versus Jordan Grace for the Impact Digital Championship. It's when, of course, Matt Cardona becomes a heel in Impact and solidifies his heelness.
And again, we're recording this on the Saturday of Elimination Chamber, but also the Saturday of Impact No Surrender, which has Matt Cardona facing off against Jordan Grace for the Digital Media Championship.
Maybe Jordan Grace will win.
Maybe.
Win it back.
Yeah, maybe. Or Cardona will do something underhand sneaky again to win out. Or
maybe the intergender match that we're going to get is not Edge and Beth versus Chelsea and Matt, but it's going to be Jordan Grace and her partner.
Jonathan Gresham.
Again? Yeah, Gresham with his crazy tentacle man mask that he wears.
The ROH champion.
Yes, and maybe it's going to be them versus Cardona and Chelsea.
Ooh, you think that Cardona could win the ROH championship off of Gresham and then hold all the belts?
We're seeing the belt collector gimmick again, but this time it's Cardona instead of Omega.
It kind of is.
And it's kind of like it's the fun ones. It's the fun titles.
It's so funny. It's such a weird collection of titles, but it's pretty funny. Like, what is it? He beat Rhino and technically won the ECW TV championship because Rhino was the last person to hold it. And so
it seems like Matt Cardona is just doing all of the belts that Kenny Omega didn't get.
Maybe. But that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you very much for hanging out with us today, listening and or watching. As always, you can follow everything that we do here at Unknown Error by following us online at UE_films. Come check out our Twitch streams. Go check out our other YouTube channels, gaming, wrestling, trading cards, all that fun stuff. You can follow myself online at Barton_Minute. You can follow Mr. Anthony Hall
at Hall and Jokes on Instagram and Twitter.
And of course, you can follow the podcast on Twitter at BookItVincePod. Thank you very much for joining us. Go watch some wrestling and keep being excellent. See you next time.
Yeah, too sweet, too sweet, too sweet, too sweet.